Yeah, it's my colleague Mike McGrath's story, and Mike taking both players separately. And Bellingham clearly that impetus that Real are the favourites to sign him has grown in recent weeks with these a lot of sort of well-sourced stories saying Liverpool are out the running, leaving just City and Madrid. And last week it seemed to be that Madrid were the last ones left in it. Mbappe is quite interesting. Obviously, he signed a new contract at Real Madrid. Mike points out that although the shirt that he held up at the time had 2025 on it, the feeling was that perhaps that last year was an option. And in fact, he's only contracted for a season after this one. So just to skim over the financial details because they are substantial. Real Madrid borrowed they borrowed a lot of money, so they would say that they took a chunk out of they sold their future revenues last summer, now upwards of 300 million euros, or they would have made a loss for the previous financial year. So that is quite significant. The finances are serious, and we will have to see if these two transfers come off, just how they will find the money for fee and contract.
Yeah, it's amazing, Charlie, as well, because as Mike McGrath's piece says there, you can see that in the sort of top headlines. Spanish giants also yet to give up on quote-unquote Operation Haaland. Haaland, Bellingham and Mbappe, how fearsome would that be, Charlie? Or would it be exciting to watch? What's your thoughts on it?
Well, it'd be typical Real Madrid, wouldn't it? I mean, they've never really done things by halves. I mean, of course, not only, as Mike said in his story, did they try and sign Mbappe last year, they did try and sign Haaland as well. But it was Manchester City that very much had the money to get that one done. This summer, obviously, they're in pole position to get Bellingham, but it's not a done deal. And I think we have to remember that. It's likely, you definitely have them as favourites. It looks as though he wants to go there now. But Dortmund want 150 million euros, which is 130 million pounds. And Real Madrid, sort of through Marca, basically their mouthpiece, are sort of making it quite clear that they don't want to pay more than 100 million pounds. And if that's the case, they're not going to get Jude Bellingham. So I imagine he'll probably still go there for, 120 million quid. And then Mbappe is a fascinating sort of extra one on top of that. In terms of Haaland, I still think he'll end up there, but not for a few years. Not yet. I'm sure he's going to want to sort of probably break the 100-goal barrier in one season in the Premier League first.
And does that law remain of Real Madrid, Sam, in the nation-state-powered club era? Is it that Real Madrid still has that romantic pull to it that maybe is at least partly nostalgic rather than just financial?
Well, I mean, we say nostalgia. I mean, they won the last five of the last 9 editions of the Champions League, so they loom very large in the modern day game. I mean, the team last night was fantastic, even with those. You consider the age of some of those players. Kroos, Modric, Benzema. Yes, they are struggling massively in the age of the nation-state club, and that's the same for a lot of these heritage clubs. The issue, of course, is that they're member-owned, so there is no possibility of a cash injection. There's no possibility of a new owner, but they have all the advantages that being 14 times champions of Europe brings, and that incredible cachet. And Charlie rightly sounds a warning there about the Spanish media. They've very much been saying that if the bidding goes over 100 million, it's very well connected Spanish reporters who cover Real Madrid, then Real are out. Well, it's going to go over 100 million. So there is a part of me that wonders, are they clearly they are favourites, but are they also sort of laying the ground for the fee just going out of their control and saying, well, look, we tried, but we didn't get Bellingham in the end. It'd be very interesting to see. Of course, the other options, he might just stay at Dortmund for another year. We have to see.
Maybe. Well, what about Mbappe then? As you say, an interesting line there with Mourinho linked to PSG. How the PSG management situation, is that significant regards Mbappe's future?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, one always gets the impression that Mbappe might as well be the manager as well. He wields such influence at that club. I'd be interested to hear Charlie's view on Jose Mourinho on this one. He's really kind of put a bit of distance between himself at the moment, and we haven't really been to get any purchase on the story at the Telegraph. I don't know what Charlie thinks.
What do you think, Charlie?
Well, he was obviously asked about that in his press conference today, or actually before the press conference with Sky Italia, and he sort of said, that no one's contacted him. It wasn't sort of exactly the most convincing I'm not interested line, really, was it? But, he's looking to end the season well with Roma again, and it wouldn't be the biggest surprise if he ended up at PSG. It's the sort of job that I think would attract him. If he stays at Roma, I just don't think he can break into the top 2 or 3. Very unlikely. If you look at them this year, the strength of Napoli and even Inter and obviously AC, but Lazio are improving and Juventus are sort of back in the top 4 now. They've got their points back, so it wouldn't be a bigger surprise to see Jose turn up in Paris.